Are we overdue for a new Lexus IS generation or what? We go back to 2013. The IS has been around for 13 years in this third generation. It got a facelift in 2017. It got another facelift in 2020. Lexus has just limped this model along because they don't know what to do with the market. Do we make hybrid, performance hybrids? Do we just go fully electric? Well, now we have information coming out of Japan that it looks like, well, some of our greatest fears could materialize. But we're not going to stop there. Toyota has just launched the new Rav4 plug-in hybrid, the redesigned model, in Japan. Of course, it launches there before here because all the plug-in hybrids are coming from Japan for the North American market until we can produce them stateside. It's only going to be a matter of time because we have a new battery facility in North Carolina. But in the meantime, they're all coming from Japan. But the big thing is not that it's launched in Japan. The big thing is that we have pricing. I'm going to give you guys a really, really accurate prediction of the pricing of the Rav4 plug-in hybrid here in the United States, and it is getting pricey, and that includes the new GR Sport model. And then at the end, we're going to talk about how Nissan can't get out of their own way. They're recalling tons of vehicles due to engine failures. This shouldn't come as a surprise. It's not a surprise for me. And then we're just going to run with it. There's a lot of other recalls happening on the market right now. If you guys are excited for the coverage from the IS to the RAV4 to recalls, hit the like button, subscribe. I cover automotive news just about every single day. If I don't have a news video, it's a car review. Outside of the garage, I have the plug-in hybrid CX-90 as well as GMC Yukon Ultimate Denali trim. It's like 108K. Anyways, I will give you guys those reviews very soon. But let's start with the news coming out of Best Car Web, the most reliable source of information out of Japan. It looks like it's going to be electric only. And it's going to be an evolution of the LFZC that was debuted at the Mobility Show in 2023. They're saying up to 500 horsepower and a range of about 600 miles. You know, we know that there's going to be next generation batteries. Let me show you. All right. This is a spreadsheet I made years ago when Toyota announced their progress on batteries and when we should expect them. So the next gen battery, well, it's been delayed to 2027, and it's possible we could go straight to bipolar performance batteries on this new Toyota EV. Okay, and that would give us a 10% increase versus the performance version, which we've never seen the performance version. Okay, but the performance version is a 200% increase versus the original BZ4X, and it has a big cost reduction as well. So I made some estimations here of actual range that you could expect from these batteries. And the next gen batteries, this one, okay, it's 504 miles. 504 miles. That is absurd. But if it's the new bipolar battery, based on that performance model, it could be 550 miles. So I don't want to get your hopes up for an actually decent Lexus EV because right now the RZ is, it's a good car. The thing is with all Toyota's BZ models as well as the CHR, they're really good cars. They're really silent and smooth and really well built and powerful. They're taking their perfection in what makes cars great, okay, and they're applying it to the best ability in an electric car. They still have yet to improve charging at a industry leading rate. They're nowhere close to that. They have yet to perfect cold weather performance. They have yet to perfect X, Y, and Z, okay, with their EVs, but they're getting better at a very fast rate. But if this model comes out, the new IS comes out with 500 horsepower, dual motor all-wheel drive with 500 miles of range, that's pretty exciting because it's going to be a smaller vehicle, unlike like the Lucid Air, which is much bigger. Now, this model is based off of this right here, which is the LFZ concept. I toured this for you guys when I was in Japan 2 years ago at the Mobility Show. And David and I from Automotive Press, David, we're just like, we don't really know what we're looking at here. There's the new ES, for example. I will be driving the new ES in the coming months, so stay tuned for that. IS, based off of this car, I'm not that excited for because I think it's hideous. But what they've done with these photos, the renders that Best Car Web has, they've actually made it better looking. Oh no, not ads. Best Car's even gone down the ad route. Oh, we survived the adpocalypse, which best car has gotten worse and worse and worse. That's probably because they're getting more and more US attraction and US viewers, which means more money from ads anyways. Okay, if it takes more of this approach, that this is a much more relaxed approach. It's still aggressive as heck, but it's not as aggressive as the LFZC. All right, and the door handles are more like the new Highlander's door handles. Okay, charging port. This is a weird place for a charging port. Hopefully it's on the front right or the back left, because that's where Tesla chargers are as well. They're charging ports. Okay, so at the back end, it looks, I think, a little bit better. It's going to be more of a fastback design. But what are they saying about it? Okay, let's get back to the article. I can talk about the design of it, but we really don't know what it's going to look like. Other than we know it's going to take cues from the LFZC, and if we look at the new ES, it could have a more sportier design than the ES, and most of us look at the new ES as a design fumble, to put it lightly. To be honest, like, I don't think the new ES looks terrible, but it doesn't look like what I imagine an ES is. It's really designed for the Chinese market. They're saying it will abandon the internal combustion engine, be reborn as a BEV only, aiming for high performance up to 500 horsepower. That's not that impressive, to be honest, but play with me a little bit. The new BZ Woodland wagon thing, okay, has 375 horsepower to 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. If you add an additional 125 horsepower to that, what kind of acceleration are we talking about? It's probably going to be in the low threes, even though it has 500 horsepower. It might not be as much as something like an Ioniq 5N, but it will accelerate as hard as one. And I don't know if it's Toyota underrating their motors, or it's just Toyota motors are insanely efficient. I don't really know. Okay, what I do know is that Toyota, their acceleration numbers are faster than competitors' models with the same or less horsepower. And when I'm talking about BEVs here, it will be coming in 2027. And guys, I'm not excited for them. Here's the thing. They just refreshed the IS again for the 26 model year. How is this supposed to come out next year as a 28? Are they just going to kill the IS? We have some issues to work with here. If this is truly going to be called the IS, then they just need to name it the IS and just make sure to put E at the end. If we look at the RZ, they have the RZ 350E, 500E, for example, 550E, and in Japan, I think they even have the 600E now. Okay, just put an E at the end of the IS if it's the battery electric, and keep the gas model around as long as you possibly can to address the gas market. Okay, because, well, the gas market is massive still, even on the old 2GR V6, because it is fun. It's not overly complex. It is still powerful. 0 to 60s under 6 seconds is still plenty quick for the average driver. It looks amazing. Even though the IS is 13 years old at this point, it's been improved over the years to make it so much better. Whether that's interior now, exterior design, even though the powertrains have remained unchanged. Okay, so we could have a market where we have an IS 350 and an IS 350E. Even though they share the same name, they're completely different models. If Lexus kills off the gas model altogether for the US market, that is a shame, and it is very unfortunate, and the IS will not have that smooth of a transition into a fully battery electric nameplate. So they're saying there will be single motor rear wheel drive. Of course there will. Dual motor all-wheel drive. Of course there will be. The system output for the two motor all-wheel drive is expected to be 500 horsepower, and the range on a single charge is currently in development with the target of astounding 1,000 kilometers. It could be more than 1,000 kilometers. That's what's crazy with the battery technology that Toyota has. If we go back to it, no, this will not have solid-state batteries, but it will have gigacasting. It'll be Toyota's first software-defined vehicle from the ground up. And let's see here. If we look at solid-state batteries, first solid-state battery, it will rival the performance bipolar battery in performance and range, okay? Or should I say ideal weather performance and range, because this solid-state battery will perform better at cold conditions, probably really hot conditions. And this solid-state battery, which is supposed to come out in 2027, Could the IS be the new IS be the first model with solid? It could. I don't want to get your hopes up. The solid state battery timelines have been a moving goalpost forever. So I won't believe in solid state until it's in a car from Toyota or Lexus. All right, they can put timelines all that they want. These are the battery packs here that really have any sort of traction and excitement for me, because solid state battery is just pie in the sky until I have to see it to believe it. I have to experience it to believe it. And until then, I'm not going to believe Toyota's estimations here, at least when it comes to timelines. Can I believe that they will eventually get to 750 miles on a next-gen solid-state battery? Yes, I believe I will see that in my lifetime. But do you really need to have that much range if the battery charges in 5 minutes? Well, that's assuming you have a charger that's fast enough. Do you know what I mean? So it just allows a maximum theoretical range of 750 miles within the same footprint of a current generation battery. About double the density, you can now get about 150 kilowatt hours in the same footprint that the BZ Woodland has a 74 kilowatt hour battery. It's crazy. It is possible. I'm not going to believe it until I see it. This stuff, though, the bipolar batteries, this is, I honestly believe Toyota is going to come out with this probably by the end of the decade. And it will be very, very, very exciting and high performance and high range. Before we move on to the RAV4's pricing as a plug-in hybrid, what are some other things that I can share about Lexus right now? Okay, well, I can share a few things. Just take it with a grain of salt. Timelines do change over time, and just keep that in mind. But I do have very, very reliable sources when it comes to this stuff. Okay, outside of the IS, the NX is getting either a redesign or a major refresh. I would call it a major refresh at the end of this year, end of 2026. I originally thought the refresh was going to be this spring, but the timelines aren't making sense. But I have seen now factual evidence that the NX will end, the gas models will end, and it will go hybrid and plug-in hybrid only, just like the RAV4 in 2027. So that's exciting, very exciting. Major refresh, major updates, interior, exterior, and going electrified only, the Lexus NX. There could be battery electric variants as well, but I haven't seen or heard that. But yeah, of course, hybrid and plug-in hybrid. So that's exciting. Also, by the end of this year, I'm hearing that the UX is dead. Okay, production ending sometime around, let's say, December, at the end of December, around the same time as the new NX or the massively refreshed NX is supposed to be coming out. So the UX is dying. All I know is that the vehicle replacing the UX, whether it's early next year or later next year, I don't know. There could be this gap between cancellation of the current UX entry-level vehicle and its replacement. There could be a year gap or something. I wouldn't surprise me at this point. But that vehicle's supposed to look like a baby GX. I don't know if it's based off Land Cruiser FJ, and I don't know if it's ladder frame or unibody. But a baby GX, a more affordable looking, awesome GX little thing, sounds amazing to me. Might as well just spruce up the Land Cruiser FJ as a Lexus. Okay, shall we get back to our programming here? New RAV4 plug-in hybrid pricing. Now, they just have 2 grades. Again, just take this with a grain of salt, because we don't have official pricing stateside for this model, and their grades, other than the GR Sport, their grades don't line up tick for tack. Okay, we don't have a Z grade in the United States. Their Z grade is kind of like an XSE mixed with a limited, I would say personally. Okay, but we do have pricing on them now, and I'll be able to give you guys an idea and how that translates to US dollars. So I made a spreadsheet for this. Okay, so first I wanted to look at, conversion from their Z grade to our limited in the United States. Okay, there's a 37% increase in price. We look at their adventure, and this is not plug-in hybrids right now. Okay, this is standard hybrids. I had to look at the standard hybrid price and extrapolate from there. We look at the adventure/woodland grade. There's a 37% increase in price. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at the Japanese yen price, converting that to US dollars on today's transactional prices from yen to US dollars, or what you could say conversion rates. All right. And then I'm looking at the actual US price on the market, not including destination, which I might as well include that, but I didn't for just to keep things simple. So on average, it looks like we pay 37% more for a RAV4 in the United States than if you just look at straight Japanese yen to US dollars conversion. So now that we have the plug-in hybrid yen prices, we can extrapolate from there. Okay, $53,000 for the XSE model. It's going to be $55,000+ for the GR Sport model. And the SE model, which is the base entry-level plug-in hybrid, this will be your cheapest plug-in hybrid, I'm guessing is going to be somewhere around $48,000. And the Woodland plug-in hybrid somewhere around $50,000. So we have a range from about $48,000 to $55,000. So about a $7,000 range from base plug-in hybrid to GR Sport maxed out plug-in hybrid. That's just how I'm seeing this, but don't expect to pay much less than $50,000 for the new plug-in hybrid RAV4. Now, if I look at pricing, it's going to be my guess would be it's about a $5,000 price increase from the hybrid models minimum. I hope it's not that much, but it's probably going to be close to what I have here. All right, which is pretty darn pricey. That's all cars nowadays. And so as much as I think the new powertrain's amazing, 50 miles of electric range or even more in some cases like the SE, you have really good acceleration, smoothness, tightness. It's really, really nice to drive. But is it really worth it compared to the lower priced hybrids? And it's a tough sell. But I'll wait till official pricing comes out. Let's move on to Nissan recalling engines right now. Like, this is crazy, guys. Almost 1 million vehicles in the US have been recalled. What is happening? This is all Rogue. 2 separate recalls. Now, both of those recalls either of those failures could lead to a loss of drive power. So 318,000 Rogues are being recalled over broken throttle body gears. That doesn't sound good. Separately, they're recalling an additional 323,000 Rogues due to damaged engine bearings. Sounds familiar, right? Just like the V35A from Toyota, their V6 model, having damaged engine bearings, which could lead to a discharge of hot oil, increasing the risk of engine fire. Now, I think we just heard of a bearing failure as well in Stellantis's 2-liter turbo engines. So all these turbocharged, or I'm not saying all these turbocharged engines, but we're seeing more and more cases of these turbocharged engines from these manufacturers have main bearing issues. Okay, I don't know if it's main bearing, to be honest, but engine bearing issues. I've always said with the Rogue, okay, lease any car from Nissan that has the VC turbo. Do not buy it. Absolutely do not buy. Now, I don't have or years right now. I don't have years. And if I go to cars.com, which compiles all the recalls, I don't have any information on this yet. Further information on which years or which engines exactly, but they're all Rogues. My guess would be that they're all the 3-cylinder VC turbo, if I had to guess. And I wouldn't touch the 4-cylinder VC turbo either. Unless you lease them, do not buy them, because I've heard nothing but potential problems with those engines. And it just stinks because, like, hey, there's a new Infiniti QX65 coming out. I will debut it for you guys on the channel. In the back of my head is like, if it doesn't have the VQ V6 that's in the Pathfinder, it's going to be a really tough sell, regardless of how beautiful it is. With that being said, let's move on. Let's end with some entertainment here. 11,000 Mercedes-Benz recalls for the EQB electric for fire risk. Go figure. 87,000 plus BMWs and Toyota Supras recalled for fire risk because the starter motor may cause a fire. 450,000. Okay, this is not that big of a deal. Well, it can be. If your trailer lights go out and your brake lights go out, okay, then you get rear-ended. Okay, it could be a big deal, but not as bad as starting a fire. Instrument panel displays. This is crazy. Think about this, guys. Everyone moving to these digital displays because they're simpler. They're in theory cheaper than analog displays or analog tachometers and speedometers and all that stuff. But look, they're being recalled by the tens of the thousands, at least for Hyundai and Kia. Okay. So it's like, shoot, if one of these LCDs goes out, LCD is in everything, whether it's infotainment screen or your instrument panel now, it could all go out. It could all go out. 500, okay, more Palisades. Palisades recalled for airbag issues. Yeah, 20 to 25 models for airbag issues. Priuses are still under recall, guys. Priuses are still under recall because the rear door handles don't work right. They made it so that it's an electronic latch with there's like the physical mechanism is not there. There might be a button or something underneath of it, but it's mainly operated as a digital latch that we see in Lexus models like the NX and RX. They implemented it on the rear door here. Thank God the new CHR is a real mechanical latch and not this thing that Toyota can't figure out. Multimedia displays going out on the Tundras. Okay, that is crazy. We know that display has been a headache for them, and that's why Toyota tried to move past that display into the more Arene software, newer displays very quickly. Unfortunately, all the electric cars that Toyota just came out with, they still have the old display, old technology, and that's probably going to be in there for another 3 years, something like that. Guys, I'll see you in the comments in regards to Lexus IS as well as the other models I mentioned. Do you think the RAV4 plug-in hybrids is going to be too expensive? It's going to start at the upper 40s would be my estimation. Where does the current one? I know I need to let you guys go as I'm wrapping this out. RAV4 plug-in hybrid MSRP. What is it at right now? $44,000. Expect that to jump probably $3,000-$4,000. That's my guess. Currently, the SE starts at 44, about 45K. Like it's going to go up a lot. The battery's heavier now, or you have more battery pack, and you have all new technology, which needs to be paid for over time. Anyways, I got into there. Thank you guys. Stay tuned for more, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.